Hello, how's everybody doing today? So in today's video, I want to talk about the Plandemic video. This is the viral video that's going around that I know most of you have seen, or a lot of people have seen, because a lot of people have sent me messages, text me, called me, hey, what do you feel about this video? And first thing I will say before I get into it is I'm not trying to go through a point-by-point, minute-by-minute, play-by-play debunking of this video. One, because it's so hard to find the video now. It has been removed from most social media platforms. And honestly, I'm not interested in doing that because it's been done so many times by multiple scientific organizations, by multiple scientists, doctors, even on YouTube. So that's been done. So I'm like, I don't really want to go into doing that in this video, but I do find it's important. So a lot of people that know me, you'll know I'll say things like, listen, don't just go and watch a YouTube video on a conspiracy theory, right, and believe that as fact, as I tell you that on a YouTube video. But here's the difference. Everything I'm saying today, everything that people like Dr. Mike, who I'm going to link down below, ZDoggMD, different doctors on YouTube, the one difference is they are going to give you the citations. They'll tell you what websites you can go to. They're not citing anything that's different than the CDC or the AMA or any other scientific organization, right? That's the difference. You watch some of these people on YouTube that talk about different conspiracies and they're trying to depopulate and they're giving us poisons and toxins and all this stuff. And then they don't link any scientific, credible, peer-reviewed evidence. There's nothing ever listed from the journals, things like that. Which kind of leads me to my next topic, because a lot of what I'm seeing, right, a lot of people think that there's some big debate, right, that it's an opinion type thing, right, where you have one side that's pro-vaccine, one side that's anti-vaccine. It's just this huge debate. Now, if you go on YouTube comments or go on social media, you'll see a debate. But here's the thing. That's all between people who are not scientists, who are not in the medical field, right, who are just debating. That's fine if you want to do that. But what I will say is, in the scientific community, among doctors, nurses, among any scientific organization, they're not sitting around and debating if vaccines are safe, if they're effective. They're past that. There's already consensus that's been reached that vaccines overall are safe. I mean, there's some odd, crazy number. It's like 1 out of every 2.5 million vaccines given, people have a reaction to. I mean, honestly, I'd fare to venture, I could be wrong on this, but medications like ibuprofen, Tylenol probably have a higher rate of adverse reactions than vaccines do. So anyway, so that leads me into the video. So in the video, this is a doctor, I think she got her PhD in biochemistry. She's also listed as a virologist, so I'm not really sure which one. Apparently, at some point in her life, she got arrested, got in some trouble. I'm not going to go into all that because, like Dr. Mike said in the video I'm going to link below, I'm not a detective. That's not my job. I don't work for the court system. I'm not here to put her on trial for what she may or may not have stolen. But in the whole beginning of the Plandemic video, the first 5 to 10 minutes, she's basically doing like ad hominem type attacks. She's basically just spewing a bunch of speculation. Well, Dr. Fauci said this, and this person said this, and this was planted, and this was faked, and they lied about this, and they lied about that. That's all hearsay. It's all he said, she said. I think the thing, though, that gets me the most are people will be like, yeah, she's speaking the truth, right? Well, first of all, she didn't cite anything. There was no research. There was no scientific data, nothing like that, especially in that beginning rant. That would back the claims that she was saying. And the other odd thing that I find is people will watch that, right? And we're talking about one biochemist, one virologist, whatever her actual title is, compared to thousands upon thousands of doctors and scientists who disagree with her. So I've always wondered, like, how do we come to a conclusion where we say, you know what, I'm going to believe the one outlier versus the 8 to 10, however many thousands of doctors and scientists over here? Why, I made the analogy on several social media posts. It's like going to a mechanic. And I may have even said this in a previous video. It's like you go to a mechanic, your car breaks down, and you go to 1,000 different mechanics. 999 of them say it's this problem. One of them says it's this problem. Who are you going to believe? I mean, are you really going to go with the one? Or are you going to go with the 999? And maybe that's a poor analogy, I don't know. But the point is that they're experts in the field for a reason. I've talked about this in several videos. We talk about the experts. People are experts in their field for a reason. This is why we have these degrees, these terminal PhD degrees in these fields. This is why we turn to research. This is why things are peer-reviewed. So again, the whole first 5 to 10 minutes of her video is speculation. It's a bunch of he said, she said. Then she goes on basically to accuse Bill Gates of trying to basically kill people or pump people full of chemicals and all this stuff about how he's funding this and funding that and trying to get money. And if anything, I would think Bill Gates would be losing money on vaccines because he's giving money towards research. He's paying money towards research. She makes the claim that, well, he's not a medical professional. Well, you don't have to be a medical professional to give a donation. If I was a billionaire, I would donate money to research because research is important. We have to be able to figure out what works and do vaccines work, for this disease or not. It's very important to do scientific research. So I think it's a great thing that he donates to research. I don't understand why that's a problem. People bring up patents a lot. I haven't personally seen anything where he has a patent on anything. He's even said if a COVID-19 vaccine gets developed and he helps to pay for the research that goes into that, he's not going to patent it. Therefore, he's not going to make any money from it. It's going to be available to the public. Why would he need to? He's already a billionaire. Why would he need to patent a vaccine? He's already a billionaire off of computers and everything else. Which leads me to patents. A lot of people will say, well, the CDC has patents for vaccines. Why would they have patents if they're not trying to make money off of people suffering and all this stuff? Well, one thing I know is that the CDC has over 10,000 employees. The payroll for those employees is probably over $1 billion because I think their average salary is like $106,000. Okay, that's just the average. Those salaries don't just come from nowhere. That money doesn't just poof and appear. It comes from taxpayers. And the way to save the taxpayers' money is to patent these vaccines. So any money that comes in from vaccines, guess what? Goes back into the research, funds the research, because research costs billions and millions of dollars to conduct, because you have to make vaccines safe. You have to make sure they're safe. They don't just put a bunch of stuff in a syringe and say, here you go put this in, which, a lot of the people that I see responding in the comment section on different videos, one of the main things I see are people listing the vaccine ingredients. Like, oh, we got you. We're going to list the ingredient. And again, this is where we talk about lay people or a lay person talking about things they don't fully comprehend or understand. And here's a perfect example. I saw numerous comments, right? And they listed out the vaccines or the ingredients in the vaccines. And there were probably 5 or 6 that were like this, but I'm going to point out just one. formaldehyde. They listed formaldehyde in the vaccine. And that's the real gotcha moment, because formaldehyde, that's what they, I guess they use that in embalming and dead people. And oh my God, that's outrageous. Why would they use that? That's just absurd. It's ludicrous, right? And even my first thought when I read it on the list, like, well, dang, that's kind of weird. Why would they have formaldehyde? That doesn't make sense. But then I got to thinking about things, and I thought, wait a minute. Formaldehyde can naturally be found, yes, naturally be found in the body as part of metabolic processes in the body. It is a byproduct of certain processes in the body, just like hydrogen peroxide, it can be found in the body. So it can naturally occur in the body. But here's the crazier thing. The amount in a vaccine, and this is just an example, I think in the body it's like something like 2 ounces or something roughly per day is produced in the body. The amount in a vaccine is like micrograms, mcg, micrograms. Very minuscule amount. So what you're talking about in a vaccine is less than what naturally occurs in our body, right? But you read that big, scary, vaccine list, and this is why it's important, again, to trust the chemists and the experts. That word is scary when you just read it like that, right? And you just see it on the list, when you don't understand that that already occurs naturally in our body. So we have 3, 4 to 10 times the amount in our body than what's in the vaccine. The amount that they use for embalming, or what I guess they use it for embalming. I don't even know. I don't know a lot about that process. But the amount that they use for that is probably 10 times higher than what occurs in our body. Probably even more than that. But this is the problem. You see big, scary words, and you get scared of vaccines. And that's just one ingredient. There were several others. I think it lists like sucrose, and it's exhausting because some of the ingredients will be like, oh, well, this is found in fertilizer. Well, guess what? If you go under in your kitchen cabinet, wherever you keep your spray bottles of cleaning products, some of them may say water. Oh, you mean there's water in them? And we have water in our food and in our bodies, and we drink water? That must mean they're bad. You get the correlation? Like, just because an ingredient's in this and it's in the vaccine and it's in food or whatever, it has nothing to do with if it's safe or not. It's when you add it with other chemicals, chemical reactions, you add these chemicals up. And then you also look at the dose equals the poison, meaning the amount. Micrograms are not the same as milligrams, are not the same as grams. If I have to take, for example, a gram of something for it to be effective, or for it to harm me, and there's a microgram of it in a vaccine, I'd have to take like 40,000 vaccines or something just to have a toxic effect. So anyway, so back to the video. I got off on a little tirade there. She also lists a study, and in this study, she talks about 36% of military, I think there were recruits in the video, military recruits that get a flu vaccine are more susceptible to coronavirus. But she alludes that it's COVID-19, which makes no sense at all because this study came out like 2-3 years before coronavirus was even, before COVID-19 was even a thing. The COVID-19 and the coronaviruses that we had before that could cause a common cold, those kind of things, are two different things. But not only that, if you actually go pull the study, which I did, I looked at, I couldn't find that 36% number anywhere in the study. I mean, I searched for it, and so then I said, all right, well, let me go look and see what different doctors are saying on the subject, different people who are debunking it and fact-checking it. They couldn't either. I mean, maybe she had a version of it nobody else knows about. I don't know. But the 36% that I didn't see it anywhere in there. And so basically the study didn't say that people are more susceptible to coronaviruses or whatever. Dr. Mike in the video below will explain a little bit more about that in his video. He did a great job of debunking a lot of the claims made here. I'm, like I said, just touching on a few of the things I noticed. Another big thing that I noticed, and I thought this was probably one of the oddest things in the whole video. I am going to look more into it, but she made a claim that I'm not anti-vaccine, but none of the vaccines we have are effective against RNA viruses. I thought, wait, let me rewind that. None of them are effective against RNA viruses. So then I got to thinking, I'm like, well, over half of the vaccines we have are for viruses that are RNA viruses. They're for diseases that are caused by an RNA virus. And then she said they're not effective. So if you look at vaccines, right, they've just about eradicated all of the diseases that they are used for, correct? So things like polio have virtually been eradicated, especially in the United States. So I don't understand the claim that no vaccine is effective at preventing RNA viruses. That one baffled me. I don't understand that one at all. Because again, several of the vaccines on the vaccine schedule are for RNA viruses. Riddle me that. I don't know. But so anyway, so a lot of and then a lot of the claims and a lot of the things that people say in the comment section and even in the video, it kind of alluded to money being involved, and everything's corrupt and everything's controlled by money and money and money and money. Okay, here's what I'll say. If people are making millions of dollars off of vaccines, millions of dollars off of selling vaccines, millions of dollars off of giving vaccines, if the doctors are making millions off of them, and Dr. Fauci's making millions, all these people are making millions of dollars, right? What does that have to do with the effectiveness of the vaccine? How does that change how effective the vaccine is? Whether I make $1 off of it or I make $1 million off of it, that has nothing to do with how effective it is. And what I mean by effective is, do they safely do what they say they're going to do? Do they prevent measles? Do they prevent the polio virus? And do they do it safely? And the answer is yes, they do it safely. They have very few, if any, side effects. Very, very, very few. They don't cause autism. They've shown that in study after study after study after study after study. You know, a lot of people in the comments saying, well, they're not studied. They don't study the vaccine. I'm like, so you mean to tell me you think that they're putting out vaccines without studying them first? There are tons of studies. Tons of studies. Anyway, so that's kind of my synopsis of Plandemic. I think that it should have been deleted. I'm not a big fan of censorship. I think people should be able to say what they want. But you have to remember, YouTube is owned by a company. If YouTube says they don't want anything to do with vaccines on their channel, whether it's positive, negative, whatever, they have that right. It's not taking away your First Amendment right to say whatever you want by them taking your video down. So first of all, remember that. Second of all, though, you got to think the video was probably taken down because people could be harmed by the information in the video. If you're promoting an anti-vaccine narrative and you know the vaccines save lives, they save millions of lives, right? Then you are allowing people to become harmed by keeping that video up, because you're just going to have more people who are on the fence, who like, you know, I don't know if I want to get my kids vaccinated. They see that video, oh, everything's corrupt, everything's bad, oh, they're just out for money. Yes, the heck with it, I'm not getting my kids vaccinated. Nope. But anyway, so that's my video. Y'all have a great day. Hit up the comment section, like and follow me. That's all I've got to say.